friends, you're underneath the tent. Actually, you're not underneath the tent. You are underneath the umbrella. What was I thinking? Hey, we're live. We're back trackside. Why here? Well, it's getting a little bit later in the day than we planned. And we were going to go up to C&O and TP like we talked earlier. And then we ended up having all the excitement with 179. And I don't know if you know it or not, but 179 separated down by Rising Fawn at the Alabama line. And Lucas was down on site, but he couldn't get back to it. It was back off the road in the trees and whatnot. But we understand 179, led by 4004 and 1073, the Penn Central, ran into an issue and 355 helped them out. And from what I understand, they're back rolling south. The last report I saw was Valley Head down in Alabama. That's past the state line, so they must have got everything fixed. Lucas, thanks for that update. If you've not seen this morning's videos, please do. They're a lot of fun. Y'all get to see Mike with one of his bloopers of the day. Because last night, when I was texting with everybody, I thought the Penn Central was leading 179 down the C&O and TP. So, when I got up on the cliff and I saw and I also thought 179 worked the yard. So, you will see I'm fiddle farting around this morning and took a tour. There's a new sign up at Coffey's Cliff from the one that was stolen. Shame on that person. Shame. Just shame on that person. What are y'all going to do with a sign that there's only one of in the whole world? You take it home, anybody sees it, going to know what you did. I hope Mama taught you better than that. So, anyhow, enough said on that subject. But the group of friends were nice enough to replace that for a fantastic friend of ours who that cliff is named after. So, leave the new one alone and let it be what it is. That way, when all the visitors, think about this for a moment. Those of you that know Coffey's Cliff, you're not sure if you're there when you get there, because once you go through the big mud puddle and through the trees and you come back to this spot, you have no idea where you are. And that sign is like a marker for people to know, because there is no geographical assigned marking spot, because it is an unofficial iconic place. Even Google recognizes it when you look for it. So, leave the sign alone. And that way all of our visitors to town, the rail fans, just think about it, they're rail fans like you and I. Let them know they've made it to the right place, and let them have something that says, hey, you are at Coffey's Cliff. So anyhow, don't know of anything special coming. Dealing with radiant heat from direct sunlight. That's a first this year. Everything is nicely mowed and cut. Man, we have a clear shot down to the Ottawa, down to Whistle Stop here along the crossing. May have to do a little weed trimming one night this week back over here, but right now we got a beautiful, picture-perfect, panoramic spot to hang out. Like I said, you're under the umbrella. The spooky water tower from 1910 to my right, your left. I was going to put haunted, but we've not had anybody come with one of those machines that says, there is presence. And not the kind you open at Christmas. Which, it's only 29 weeks to Christmas, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. Zach hasn't sent me a recent update, but I am pretty sure it's 29 weeks to Christmas. I know we have 15 pay periods left before Christmas. So, I hope I'm not too close. Haven't got a monitor up. Hadn't even got the scanner out here yet. Just got here. Had to get some breakfast because I was hungry. And went to Trackside restaurant where they serve breakfast all day. Oh, numb. So, full belly, back trackside, looking for fun train crews. I gave that one of them massive, huge, exciting waves. Crickets. So we did not start off fulfilling our goal with train crew 1. But not everybody loves a good rail fan. So anyhow, we're back with the biting bugs, the mosquitoes, and everything else that flies here, including the gnats, underneath the umbrella. In production 6, looking for fun, where we're going to set up. We do have light action. We can see Atlanta North District, which is this side, Atlantic North District for NS. Knoxville West End over here for NS. They come side by side. There's 2 diverge points between the signal bridges that you see. Well, one of which you can see, there's 2 of them there. One on each side of Little Debbie's Parkway. 2 points to diverge over. And then Bootleggers Crossing. Y'all familiar with that place. And like I said, I hope I'm not massive. Matter of fact, I better look just in case. I don't want Q1 to yell at me. Take me a minute to get all this done here. Hang on. And we're almost to 2,000 subscribers, you guys. So help us out. Help Casey and I. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hush, 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 hush. You make too much music there, you'll mess up the video because it does not like copyrighted things. All right. I'm not too large. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the scanner out. Let's get ready. Hello, Tony. Thanks, Keenan. I'm glad I'm looking good today. And guess what? I ate my whole breakfast with salsa, A1 sauce on the hash brown, strawberry jam on the wheat toast. Didn't spill any on my shirt. So, thanks for letting me know that Q1 and 2 that were looking good for quality control 1. We're going to go ahead, like I said, get the scanner and stuff out. We'll have to move things around as the sun moves, but it's kind of like straight overhead. Y'all can see the umbrella there in the picture. We were talking about the signal towers. We'll bring it on down. It is just beautiful out here today. Oh my goodness. It is picture perfect. So, they are turned to the right and to the left. We can probably see, although it's pretty bright with the sun, I'll have to get the binoculars out, and we'll be able to see the Knoxville indicator. You can see the heat rising off the rails, that radiant heat. And that's what we have to worry about today. Our first, well, probably our second day to really worry about that problem. But we're under the umbrella, and we're going to go ahead and get the dead cat on. There's not much breeze, but any amount of noise. And we may even try out the fan. A little curious how much noise it makes. So first off, got to get the dead cat on. Hopefully this isn't massive. Here, I'll take it back about 20 steps. Hopefully this isn't too huge. Dead cat going on you. keeps down the incidental noise. So, y'all are dressed up in your Sunday best, dead cat. There. Now, let's get the scanner while we're at it. Hey y'all, I found a shoe. Woo! There's one of them. I was happy that day we were in Decatur, not this past week, but the time before. That was one wet storm. Y'all hear these noises, I know you're wondering what's going on. Production 6 is like a treasure chest of things that help make all of this possible. Now for 6 months, this fan has been on mothballs. This was a birthday present from Casey. Open the trap door. Insert, and y'all tell me if I say it right, Robi battery. Close the trap door. Now I know what y'all are thinking. I wonder if Mike has not used that for 6 months and the battery's dead, and when he turns it on, it's not going to work. Ah, there's low, there's high. Uh-oh, it's got a smoky smell coming out of it. Woo! Battery on fire! Oh no! Uh-oh! What's wrong? Phew! Can y'all hear it? Hey, Chuck. We might be in need of fire assistance. Don't know why. When we first started up, it smelled like one of those electrical fires that we have every now and then at the office. Can you all hear it? I'm a little worried it might start production 6 on fire here. Woo, did that smell? I wonder what that was all about. Well, that was a little worrisome there for a moment. Got one shoe. Alright. We're going to aim this at you guys so that the cam has a breeze on it. Maybe the bearings were just a little tied up from not running for a while. Anyhow, smells like an old Atari after you played it too long. Or for those of you old enough to remember, creepy crawlers. We used to have those hot plates and we pour the goo in and we'd make gummy worms and whatnot. Alright, now that the fire alert's over, let me find a monitor. Make sure we're all set and situated here. All right. Hi there. Just trying to set the fan up so camera gets some breeze. It doesn't get mad and get all hot. All right, everybody. Now, I think we got this about right. And 10 degrees to the left. All right. We have a breeze on the camera. Let's see how loud it is. Okay, everybody, what are you all feeling? What do you think? Too much noise? Do I need to turn it down? I can put it closer, blow it up, turn it on low speed. Gonna look for the other shoe. Oh, that's not good. Hang on. Where's Q1 when I need him? Whew. It's a lot of work today. I got one shoe. That's the backup shoes. But I gotta find the other one. So, y'all tell me what you think. Too much noise, not enough. I'm gonna get a pair of binoculars so we can see the signals. Anybody trackside? Let me know. It's 80 some degrees out here today. Light breeze. Dead cat on. Trackside live. Welcome everybody. Appreciate you all being on. We are almost to 2,000 subscribers. So, if you got any friends that you like, or maybe some friends you don't like anymore, let them know. Hey, we got motorcycle friends. Let them know Rail Moments needs some subscribers. And sign up for a good time, for a long time, here on Rail Moments. Bryce is here, y'all. Brought his motorcycle, and he's ready for a little train watching. We are at, like I said, the spooky water tower. Now, to me, it's haunted. But there's no physical proof that it's haunted other than the fact that if I get close to it, I feel sensations. And they are run. So, on the other hand, Kid Outdoor thinks camping in there would be a fantastic idea. No. Y'all saw that one night that we flashed the camera on in there, and it was all... There's a mural painted on the inside of that all the way around. There's a big note in red paint. Danger! Across the top of the door there. You can't see it because the trees are doing so well this year. But I'm not staying in there. Matter of fact, I'm not even going in there. Plus, we have to go across an active track to get there, and I'm not doing that either. So, A special thank you to the county or city person that brought the tractor up here and mowed Railroad Avenue. We are on Railroad Avenue here. The sign says dead end. So when you get to the end, prepare for it to be a dead end. Haha, I know. And last week, part of the Keep Our Streets Pretty in Ottawa or Collegedale, whichever we are here. What are we, Collegedale or Ottawa here?
Gray area.
We're on a gray area. We're in Gray Areaville. So we have our very own Grayville. So someplace here is Ottawa and someplace here is Collegedale. As you all know, we see the Collegedale police up here on a regular basis, sometimes 2 or 3 of them at a time, especially when they're looking for 2 people riding down the center of the rails on motorcycles.
Wasn't me.
And Bryce says it wasn't him. I'm not sure he'd get all that between the rails. That's a pretty big motorcycle over there. Not to mention, they were beside a train. So, anyhow, we're trackside. I think we got everything set up. Scanner's going, fans going. Hey, we got another highball green on the Atlanta North. So enough of me. Let's get ready for some more train action where it looks like our fire alert is over. No more smoke coming out of the fan. It was a little touch and go there. And don't laugh. I'm going to show you why. Do not laugh at me about my smoky fan, where it sounded like an electrical fire. Could be burst out at any moment.
This heat's not great for electronics, is it?
Oh boy, do I ever know that. Now, production unit comes with just about one of everything. So in the case of electrical fire with the Roby, number 1, we shall prepare to throw it. Number 2, we shall prepare to fight it. And they say there's 2 things you have to decide when you're faced with a fire. Fight it or flee it. So, and I gotta tell you this quick story. This is from a fire marshal friend of mine, many of whom you know. They responded to a fire some years back in downtown Chattanooga at a scrapyard. And when they got there, a number of things were ablaze, including a car, which was kind of the center of the whole thing. And after they got the fire out and everything under control, they were talking to the folks there that were working there and asked them what happened. And they said, we tried to put it out, but the fire extinguishers didn't work. And the fire crews looked at him. Like I said, now this story was told me that Mike's not making this up in front of the spooky, unconfirmed haunted fire tower, but they told the fire crews they pulled the pins on 8 or 9 fire extinguishers, tossed them inside the car, and they never worked. Now that story is not me making this up just for your education or for your amusement and entertainment trackside. That is what happened at the scrapyard. Pulled the pins, tossed them in, made the election to fight the fire with no results. So remember, pull the pin, take this little thing, aim at the base of the fire. Not up here, if you can see, not up here, but at the base of the fire, and you will put it out. Pulling the pins and throwing it, you will not have satisfactory results, and you will not get firefighting award of the year. So, we got highball green, we're under the tent, we got the scanner, no more smoke coming out of the fan. And while we're waiting for our next northbound, Bryce is getting set up. I'm going to look for shoe number 2. How you been?
I've been all right. How about you?
Every day of my world's like living right in the center of paradise.
It's been a busy day.
It is. It's been a great day.
I've been sitting out on my front porch all day. Every 10, 15 minutes, one's gone by. Sound like it, anyways. And yeah.
As far as under the seat, do what? I've got warm water. If you would like that, I have no unsweet tea. And I got clean cups. Here you go. And there you go. 3 cups of coffee. Now that we have the coffee maker. Yeah. Are you talking about the third one down or the middle ring? You talking about the one where the Waffle House is at the bottom or the top one by 2A? Okay, so the middle one. Okay. And there it is, huh? Oh, that's cool. I have to remember that next time I'm down. There's any kind of signs or anything?
There is a paved pull-off.
Getting directions how to get to the spring water in Ringgold, and it comes out cool. How awesome is that? When I say cool, it's not like cool, whoa, he's cool. It's cool like not hot. All right. We'll stay with the green for a moment. Keeping an eye on the fan, who still smells just a little bit sketch, but still working. All right, let me catch up with y'all. All right, and back to the question. Is the fan too loud for y'all? Y'all okay with it? before I get too settled in here, I gotta find, like I said, one more shoe in here somewhere. And then I can catch up with everybody.
Sorry, I left y'all with all that stuff to clean up back over there. The ice bucket and all that.
Oh, we were fine. We were there for a while. We enjoyed it.
Glad to hear it.
I left it in Brian's care and custody and trying to put it to good use.
There you go.
And we all said, told you thanks.
Thank you. Just as light a day now as it was then.
Yeah, we have to start getting ready for this.
Yeah.
The nice cool days are over.
Got a water bottle attached to it. Pull the trigger on it. And a water bottle with family.
Yeah.
A little spray and paste. And click on the trigger on the bottle.
Hey, you want to say hi to everybody? Come on, hang on. Let me swing over here. We were just talking about the railfan days. Everybody meet Bryce. Bryce, meet everybody. We were just talking about railfan days in Cowan.
Oh, what do I say?
Whatever you want to say. Hi and goodbye if you want.
Well, howdy. Beautiful, hot day. Great day for riding a bike. Great day for rail fanning. So I figure we might as well mix the two together, right?
And over there is said bike. What kind is it?
It's a 2013 Harley Softail. It's a Heritage Edition, so it's...
A Heritage. I wonder if they track that on an app. Here comes Bryce on the Heritage Edition. Quick, report it. So it's a soft tail, Heritage Edition. You said Harley?
Yep,
Harley Davidson.
It's about 1600 cc, so it's a pretty big engine. I'll tell you this much, without incriminating myself, I'll tell you that it's fast.
And its speed opportunities is fast.
I'll tell you what the brochure says. 0 to 60 about 4 1/4 seconds. So,
0 to 60 in how many seconds?
about 4 1/4, I think is what Harley says. So.
Hey. And y'all notice that snazzy shirt he's got on. You don't get one of those rail appreciation days. Cowan, Tennessee, May 17th, I think was that day. As long as I got a shirt, I can remember where I was that day.
I always honk in that tunnel down there too.
Oh yeah, when you come up, there's a little bitty tunnel there, and you never know who's going to come zipping through there. A little dark there, so if you're Bryce and you're on a motorcycle, you don't want your Heritage Edition to get scrunched. Tony, it was 15 days ago already. I almost came over last night, but then we got behind because we got the bridge to work, and then after the bridge worked, we managed to catch the Clinksfield. So then we got behind. I was really wanting some of your Mexican food. So we settled for Big Bad Bob's Barbecue. And I forget the exact names, but I know Big's in there and Bob's is in there. And it is incredible. In Decatur, Alabama. Big Bob, I don't know, maybe it's Big Bob Burkett. But whatever it is, if you can get the Big Bob, you'll find the rest of it. Fantastic breakfast or barbecue.
This first train goes through. I'm going to go down to Circle K and get us some cold waters.
Okay.
What kind of one? Different preferences? Smart water?
Just plain old 99-cent cold water is fine. I'm used to drinking warm water because I'm on the lot all the time. So quite honestly, I'm fine with that.
Really?
I mean, that's what I'm used to. And they say don't drink this, don't drink hot water, but don't drink cold water. You should drink cool water for proper hydration and being out in the temperatures and all that kind of stuff. Y'all see my other shoe in here? I can't find it. I was taught that every place has its thing and everything has its place. And when I need the other shoe, I need to know what place it's in. Up. Well, since we've got a green going northbound, it can only mean going on up the Knoxville West End. Hey, this sounds like a fun train crew too, y'all. We need to get a big United States flag. Until then, going up the Knoxville West End.
Knoxville always has the most unique concepts.
Do what?
Things going to and coming from Knoxville always have the most unique stuff on them. Honestly, I keep seeing the same stuff coming back and forth from Atlanta. Nice to see something a little different, a whole bunch of gondolas.
Variety going to Knoxville. That's our second train of the day, led by 4614, headed up the Knoxville West End. And we had our front ones an AC44C6M and both of our DPUs the same thing, 4412, 4602. And as you saw and as Bryce just pointed out, we had variety on that train. If whatever you could think of, we had. The only thing we didn't have was a picture of a fat lady on the side of it singing to us, which meant there was still more train to go because the performance wasn't over yet. So, he's on his way to the north. We still got highball green on the Atlanta North District. So we have back-to-back train action. Bryce has been on his porch watching the tracks today. He said every 15 minutes he's had his neck going left or right watching one go by. It's a good day. And you saw, if you keep a safe distance, act sane and sensibly, make sure the train crews know that you're not out doing foolish things. They can have fun with you like we have fun with them, thanks to the crew on that lead locomotive 4614 for the horn salute and the huge wave. Here comes Atlanta North District. Oh, he's pouring the coal too. Look at it, Bryce. He's got hammered down. Look at that radiant heat pouring out of the top of those locomotives. We got 3 more on the way right now. Don't be gone long. 26C rolling past us. And hey, that's the way to roll on a Sunday afternoon. Thanks to that train crew up there in 4057. We got honks. We got waves. We got it all. How cool was that? Huge wave from our conductor on that side. Excuse me, from the engineer on that side. Honks coming up there. It is a Sunday afternoon to enjoy here at the Spooky Water Tower that's left over from 1910 Junction Point, Ottawa. And we are off rolling along. And you could tell he was a hot train because he was pouring the coal. That radiant heat coming on up, those UPS trailers on there, he has got to get to wherever he's going. So, don't go far. Stay put. Get something to drink. Stay comfortable. We got more action coming. 29F is across 10 Bridge. So we'll see another hot train going past here. We got some more action before we go pick up Mrs. S, best wife in the world. And then we go over and see Casey and Kayla and talk a little bit about rail moments. So we got more action. Bryce is back in a moment. And we'll watch him exit. And I got to take a call from Mrs. S, speaking of. So y'all keep an eye up there on that signal tower. Excuse me. Signal bridge while I talk to Mrs. S. Hey.
What time are you coming?
Did y'all see that? As you know, they come in threes quite frequently. And that highball yellow, or amber, whichever you prefer, is number 3 that'll be coming up. The Atlanta North District. And you saw it. We rotated high green, high ball green, as Robert would say. I know y'all are gonna laugh. I'm still looking for that other shoe. And I'll hear you laugh, so don't laugh. Found it! Got them both. Those are the backup shoes. And I think I hear Bryce on his return. On his Heritage Harley. Yep, that's Bryce. Had to tear it all apart, but I found that shoe, y'all. Now, our next project is to find the next train, which we know is coming up the Atlanta North District line right at us. So, I guess for the moment, we'll stay looking this way. Give you a little different view. And it is a pretty view. Look how green and luscious the trees are after 4 weeks of rain, y'all. I can hear y'all. What all does he have in there? And that answer is everything. Including umbrellas. And the one thing I've learned, you never can have enough umbrellas. All right, I have not been on the monitor, so I got to get caught up with y'all, but I want you to know. One of the handiest things you can get, I don't have the monitor on, so I hope I'm on here. One of the handiest things you can carry is an old people cane. I have two. And a special thank you to April who got these for me. Horn! After I fell down the hill the day I met Jessie, and she heard about what happened, she solved the problem. Ever since, if I'm going up the hill, I can hook the tree and pull myself up. If I'm going down the hill, I can slow down my speed. 65Q on approach, Atlanta North District. Looks like some sausages coming for Kid. Ethanol train. No, that was the next one that we were waiting on. He went from amber to green. That was 65Q. 65Q rolling past us. All those placards, I do believe, said 1987. Not because that's the year that the car was made, but that is the hazard code on that placard. So in case of emergency, where the NS hazmat train has gone around the country throughout the NS system and worked with first responders, they know what to do should something occur with a car, a tanker car, how to deal with those. If you've not seen that train, there are several lives where we went to class with them down in Lula, and you can see them go to class, go through the different trains, listen to some of the training, see that train there in Lula, Georgia. So 29F, I hear on the scanner, is somewhere down by Jersey. We got all kinds of things yet to go before we take off. Hey everybody, thanks for being with Bryce and I here at the spooky 1910 Water Tower on this fun Sunday. And yes, we got a wave from our inbound train crew. Thanks to that engineer. I was so excited I forgot to write down what engine number it was. But a special thanks to that engineer. Headed on in towards Chattanooga. And I just heard on the scanner, 29F coming our way. Yes. And as you all know, 29F is a high priority train, and they've been switching the power out a couple different ways. 3 on the head end, or a solo on the head end, and 2 DPUs. So y'all can take wagers on which way you think you're going to see it today. 3 up front, or 1 up front, 2 in the middle. And 29F, I just got a text from a rail fan that's trackside. He is past Williams. So our next train up will probably be 29F, since he is a priority train to Florida. Let's look for UPS trailers back towards the end. Let's listen for that horn. On the other side of the 2 signal bridges, they're at Woodhaven Lane, the private drive that we sometimes hang out at. It'll be 29F and then 371. 29F is past Williams.
371 is northbound or
Southbound, he'll be following him south.
how far out is one?
Do what?
How far out is one?
10 minutes. just to make sure we have no short circuits here. We're going to do just a couple of changes. You'll just stay comfortable. No need for alarm. We got to reset the bubble. Oops. Yeah, that was a small earthquake after that big tremor there with the equipment. We're just having to adjust as the sun rolls. We have to keep the radiant heat off the recorder, or all you're going to see is nothing. All right. Let's see how we're lining up here. Ooh, that's a pretty green tree. Yeah, we look to be in pretty good shape. The bubble says we're level. And the bubble says we're level. We got to be level, right? Like I said, our weeds are starting to grow over there. But thanks to either the city or the county, they did a fine job when they brought that mower up, knocked down the trees and everything. A couple of those were too big for me to cut. I hadn't brought the chainsaw here yet. So, trackside mowing was achieved there. All right, that was just me doing a sun check. Last thing we need is to run out of power, which we got 47% still. Don't want to overheat. I think all the variables are as under control as we can get them. Scanner is on high volume. We don't want to miss any of the trackside action. Here comes Andy. Hi, Andy. That guy who flies has flown in, landing that beautiful new Nissan. If you take him out in the forest, you could lose the car because it blends in with the trees. We almost had a fire alert. I started up the fan and it started smoking. Yeah, I let the smoke out of the fan, that's for sure. Got the fire extinguisher out just for fun. Was prepared for immediate action. You got the gun. 29F is coming. Of course, the speed gun. Hey y'all, Andy brought the speed gun. Y'all can take guesses as I cut past the front of the camera here. Since the sun is over there, we've had to move the camera in closer to the tailgate. We gotta see what y'all think the speed is. Top speed on 29F past us. All right, everybody, finally, the shoe is found Everything's put back in its place. Rice is back. Andy's arrived. Everything's put back in its place in production 6. Nothing worse than need to find something to be in a hurry and it's not in its place. I'm a big believer. Everything in its place, as we said earlier today, and every place has its thing. Thank you guys for all those heads up. And again, we are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers this week. Tara, up in Virginia, went to the event at the museum, wore her shirt, and told everybody in Virginia about Rail Moments. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, all the way from Boone's Mill, Virginia, she caught the pink nose vandalized locomotive. And as you all know, that is the town that has an S-curve, 4 lights, and 16 residents, where she gets to overlook the track and sees all the cool stuff coming south. Over there, in the mix of all those bushes, where it says danger above that entrance, but the trees are covering it, is the inner chamber to the spooky water tower. If you haven't checked out this weekend's trip to Decatur, please do so. It was a lot of fun. Everything from the RF&P nose live to the vertical bridge, going up, going down, blasting the horn that it was going to, barge traffic. Caught a couple SD 40-2s on the local working. And we tracked down in Lacon, Alabama, the legendary heritage unit for CSX, the Clinchfield. Pretty as can be out there in the woods, mountains, and hills of Alabama. And you could just barely get a glimpse of him off of 65 because the trees are so growing up. So as we await 29F, a special thanks to Tara for telling everybody at the museum at the event this past weekend about Rail Moments. And like I said, all your help to get us to 2,000 subscribers this week would be a fantastic thank you and a great event to start June of 2025 off rolling like a rock down a mountain here on the first day of June. I think it's the first day of June. Pretty sure it is, of 2025. It could be the second day. Matter of fact, I think it is the second day. Nope. Sunday, June 1, 2025, and I know that's correct because my smartphone says so. So the crowd is growing. Pretty soon we'll put the bleachers up. Any minute, we should hear the horn for 29F crossing Woodhaven Lane, the private drive, on the other side of Little Debbie Parkway, which is between the 2 signal bridges, one of which you can see and the other one a little bit further back.
Just the thing with the smoke on
Yeah, it's going right off. I was getting ready to throw it in the parking lot. There was so much smoke, and you could smell the electrical smell.
it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to toss it out there and get the fire extinguisher out. Matter of fact, I got the fire extinguisher out for fun.
Well,
All right, y'all, high priority, 29F, rolling at us, coming around the corner. Intermodal, looks like they've got a single up front today. All right, now I'm not going to tell yet, but right there. Oh, I can't tell yet. He showed the answer. All right, y'all. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but he started out, I'm going to give you a hint, just in case y'all didn't get to see the answer in time. He started out with us at 30 mph. So, anybody want to go from there, what his top speed was on the official air flying plane catching radar gun as they come and go from the airport, and not the Chattanooga airport, but Andy's airport, where it's paved smooth and the planes he flies planes about the size of production 6. They're so big when we take Andy out, we got to take a trailer because his plane won't go in the car with us. So, hang on, it's Ms. Tuggle. Y'all just stay put 1 second. Y'all put your answers in. I'll be right back to y'all. Yes, ma'am. And yes, that was Casey's wife. Okay, back here. Let's see who's got what guesses. And I said I think to everybody on, if I missed anybody, please tell me that I missed you. Multitasking, trying to make sure everything's right and tight, sometimes becomes challenging for old people. So, let's get back here to the chat. Come back on live, since anytime the phone rings, it separates that amount of time. Okay, let's see. Eric started off with 25. And then Crash hit us at 35. Tony's got us at 36. Ain't right. You the winner. If you were here, you would get a great big gold star. Remember back in the days when we used pencils and paper? If you were an outstanding student, you did a fantastic job, you would get your paper marked with an A+ in red. And then you'd get this great big gold star that they'd peel off the little sticky sheet. And if you were good throughout the day, you got to put gold stars on your name on the wall. So, in honor of the Gold Star Award, ain't right, you got the answer right. 35 mph was his departing speed as he left here, headed to Appleton, on the way down to Long, Pikes Peak, and all of you down there, Bagsquatch, he's on his way. And next up, 371. It's a famous train, 371, because if you add it all together, it equals 11. So, 371, AK-11, on his way, following right behind, going south. And our next question of the day is, 371 is not a consist. Speaking of consist, we were back to the most recent style. Solo in the front. 29F today was led by 7716. 2 in the middle for DPUs, so that's what he's been running. And as you saw a few times in the last couple of weeks, they went back to the 3 in the front. But today, 1 and 2. So anyhow, back to these biting bugs. I got to get the fly swatter out here. 371, y'all start guessing what's up front on the power. I will give you a hint. The first locomotive is not wearing whiskers. But I can tell you the next one of these little biting bugs that land on my leg is going to be wearing a fly swatter. You look like you're leaving us.
I'm gonna go eat supper.
Bryce wanted to tell y'all goodbye. He is suited up and he is ready to go find food.
Yes, sir. But adios, I guess. I'll see y'all. I mean, I'll probably be back later, depending on how long y'all are out for. So
we are gone after this next train because it's time for dinner and the weekly meeting of Rail Moments team.
there you go.
Bryce, you be careful. Remember, the other guy never sees the motorcycle, but the motorcycle sees the other guy. Ouch! Okay, that's it. Where's the fly swatter? That is the last time. Excuse me, sir. I gotta get the plastic flapper of death. We got them tiny little flying ant things today.
Oh, really?
And when they bite, it hurts. All right, you guys. there goes the Heritage Edition Harley Davidson. All right, I've got it out and I am ready. Actually, Lucas, good to see you. We do have both. So, next one it lands, gets this. Got him! Oh, that was awesome! He landed, I felt it, and right there before your eyes, he committed his last bite. Oh, that was awesome. I know. Sometimes you just have to entertain yourself. Being an only child, you figure out ways to do that. All right. We're going to get ready here to live on the edge just a little bit. We're going to step on out there because we want a fantastic view. One of our train spotters to the north. Well, actually, I guess they consider this line that runs north and south, but if you ask me, it runs east and west once you get past this point. First of all, let me get the bubble all bubbled up here. Ray, who's also part of the Rail Moments team, taught me, Mike, you always got to have the bubble bubbled. And on the tripod, for those of you who don't use tripods, there's this little bubble thing in which you align everything. So, and while I'm thinking about it, we're going to do one more thing real quick. So y'all just stay calm. Let me do this real going to shoot a short production. So, camera 1 beside camera 2, fly swatter in the other hand, getting leveled here. All right. Just that quick, we have prepared for additional action. Next up on the talent agenda is how to run 2 cameras. And figure out where the third one is, because I set it down. Oh, there it is. I promised Casey pictures from the scene. So y'all sit tight a moment as we take pictures from the scene for Casey. We do have the fan speed turned down to low to cut back on noise. Boy, is that ever the truth. That's funny.
Isn't it though?
That is. All right, let's get the monitor back up because while taking pictures, I lost y'all. And because we don't want to miss a thing on 371, y'all get your answers in. What is leading the next train? And no peeking at the TVRM camera, you guys. That's not fair. The lead locomotive is not wearing a pair of whiskers. That's the only clue you're all going to get. And I'm not going to make a mistake and show you the answer this time like I did the last time. Hey, Lucas. I love pictures, of course, Lucas. Send me all you want. Lucas was hanging out with 179 when it separated out in the woods this morning, and 355 had to come along and help. That was after we saw him leave the south end of the yard today.
You break his knuckle?
All Lucas knew is he separated, and they needed 355 to help him. He was on the AGS going south.
Okay.
That's one less mosquito. 2 down. This green thing on a metal stick works fantastically.
2 down and a gazillion more to go.
Yeah. Boy, did Andy say that right. In case y'all didn't hear him, 2 down, 1 gazillion left. And Lucas, that would really be fantastic. It was a good morning. Glad you and I got to share it. And thanks to everybody that kept sending me updates all night long. And then when it came time, I fell asleep this morning and overslept. But we got him. All right, let's listen for 371. I don't know if I told you.
Oh, okay.
You'll be on this side.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Were you up there today?
No. No,
I was curious if there's anything special in the parking lot.
oh, pretty good.
Three 71 diverging, please. Track southbound 371.
371 diverging. Ottawa! He said that was pretty cool, y'all. Here he comes. 371 around the corner. Ottawa! Whoops, that's too far. Let's get this just right. We got glowage. First off, who had the answer right to what was leading this train? Let's see. Glowings, yepper. All right, well, it looks like nobody got the answer. UP 5719. UP 5719 leading that train southbound to Atlanta. All right, let's see how you can do with the next question. What was the top speed on our train that just passed us? And I will give you a hint. It was less than our last train. Those UP engines can't go as fast as those whiskers can. Those whiskers just part the air in front of them. Aerodynamic locomotives. And our speed checks today, compliments of Andy. So a special thank you to him. Again, a special thank you to the road crew that came by and mowed all of the trees and stumps and everything that was blocking your view. A couple of which were too big for me to get with our incredibly cool, super fast, one of a kind, still hedge clippers on a stick, which is also in production 6, along with sometimes a chainsaw on a stick. And I would show it to you until the other day the chain came off the chainsaw on a stick. Now we have a stick with a resemblance of a chainsaw. All right, to the answer we go. We've got glowings, followed by wow, followed by 30, and a 30, and a 31. The top speed on that train, y'all are not going to believe this. I know a couple of you young folks that are on here right now could run this fast. 25 miles per hour was the top speed, and he got slower as he went past. So if you're down there, Bag Squatch and Crash, Pikes Peak, everybody, you should see him at Long any minute. We are going to go ahead and pack. And just so y'all have an idea what packing means, I'm going to let y'all watch the packing process. Normally, it's like, it's like putting your underwear in the suitcase. And then you wonder if what are those guys, the TSA folks, are going to look in the suitcase or not. So anyhow,
I'm gonna head out then.
Andy said to tell y'all goodbye. Everybody in Chicago, tell Andy y'all said hi. And there's the wave of the day on Sunday, just like we got from that train crew on train 371 in UP engine 5719. I don't know what was more exciting. The waves like we just got from Andy and the train crew, or the horn salute, or put it all together, and that makes for one fantastic Sunday afternoon by the Spooky Water Tower in Ottawa, Tennessee, for another day with rail moments. And it has been quite a weekend. You be safe, be careful. I'll let you know where I go tomorrow. All right, everybody. Let's go on out here. Y'all can get up here in the middle of the parking lot if y'all want. We're here at the end of Railroad Avenue, where we are going to begin the packing process. And today, y'all can watch the packing process. And then, if nothing's blowing the horn, we will conclude. Hi, Andy. Handy dandy cane. Big Mo. And a quick story on Big Mo. Jesse was there for this. When we use him in the morning, that's how we make coffee trackside and use the satellite system because it requires power and everything. We carry Big Mo in the restaurant and say, hey, do you have a seat with an electrical plug? Then they look at us funny, and then they say yes. I run back out, and in I bring him. And they look at it and stare and say, how much power does it take? And then we plug him in and eat, and then we go back to the track. So, the lost shoes. Look how pretty that evening is. Surprising how quiet it gets out here. So, I can't remember if I answered the question, but 25 was the peak speed on our last train. Looking to the west, where the sunset will begin. And just for kind of a closing picture, just for fun, let's take a look towards Chattanooga. Where if you were on Knoxville West End coming to town, Just real quick here. If you were on the Knoxville West End, you'd be on the engineer's position right here. And that's what you would see going towards Bootleggers Crossing. So, Knoxville West End on the right, Atlanta North District on the left, two diverge points between the signal bridges, pair of propane tanks, a bungalow, and Bootleggers Crossing. So, just to give you an idea what it looks like around the corner. Yes, Mama Bear, I know you love your sunsets. So everybody, from Casey and I, and the Rail Moms, and our staff photographer Ray, to all of you, everybody have a fantastic Sunday evening. A warm and special thank you to our last train crew. Brought us a couple UP locomotives. Huge wave from the conductor. A special Ottawa call coming through as they make their way down to Atlanta. May all the train crews stay safe, be safe, and as you all know, you know where we're going to see you guys next. Kid? That's right. We will see you all at the next crossing. And I think we actually have a couple days coming with no rain. So, from all of us on the Rail Moment staff, to all of you that I met this weekend, it was so much fun. It was so great to meet all the folks I did over in Decatur. And we stayed up to after midnight on Central Time. It was a little shaky on our train count, but we did some midnight filming, some daytime filming, some in the woods, in the mountains. We looked for Big Squatch, and we didn't find him, but we did look. And we were a place where he could have lived. So, from all of us, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you. I cannot say thank you enough. Make sure you tell everybody that you like and don't like. Watch Rail Moments. Help us get to 2,000 subscribers. And Tara, a special thank you up there in Virginia. Glad you had a good weekend. Thanks for all the help on folks being part of Rail Moments. And Lucas, thanks for this morning. Warren, thanks for spotting for us bright and early today before you hit the lake. Y'all have a fantastic evening, and we will see you at the next crossing.